Welcome to the lively village of Amanzi, where secrets don't just walk, they sprint. Here, every rumor gets a makeover, and every truth has 5 versions. In this bustling village lived Killen, a hard-working farmer who preferred silence, and his wife Nailah, the village's unofficial broadcaster. If gossip were a skill, Nailah would be a gold medalist. What happens when her loose tongue turns their lives upside down? Stay tuned for the hilarity that ensues. Killen was a man of simple pleasures. He loved his farmland, his cows, and the sweet scent of the earth after a fresh harvest. But Nailah, oh Nailah, her joy came from talking, sharing every detail of their lives with the village. No topic was too personal. No detail was too small. One day, Nailah told her friend,
"Do you know what happened yesterday? Killen was so tired, Auntie wore his shirt backward and didn't even notice until lunchtime. Oh, the look on his face."
Her husband was tired of her. She tells everybody literally everything, from the state of their pantry to the exact day her husband last changed his underwear. Nailah's words spread faster than wildfire in the dry season. Killen could only sigh as the entire village laughed about his life. One day, while working on his farm, Killen made an unusual discovery. A mysterious clay pot was buried in the soil, its surface etched with ancient symbols. Killen hurried to dig out the pot. When he finished digging, he lifted the pot and opened it. Lo and behold, it was a pot full of gold and some expensive jewelries. He was shocked. He flung the pot and ran away out of shock. He then sat under a big tree. He was happy and at the same time confused. He said, "What is this? A gift from the gods? Or something cursed? Who can I tell? Definitely not Nailah." But he needed someone to talk to. Killen stared at the pot, his heart racing. He knew one thing for sure. He couldn't risk the entire village knowing about this. And so, he devised a clever plan to test his wife's ability to keep a secret. That evening, Killen walked into the house with a mischievous plan. He sat Nailah down and shared the first of his tall tales. Killen said, "Nailah, something incredible happened today. I caught a fish with a mousetrap in my farm." Nailah, gasping with wide-eyed, she said, "A fish with a mousetrap? How is that even possible?" Then Killen said, "It's the work of the gods, Nailah, but remember, not a word to anyone." Nailah nodded solemnly, but inside, her excitement bubbled over. Could she really keep this to herself? The gods would soon find out. A week later, Killen upped the ante with an even more outrageous story. He said, "Nailah, you won't believe it. Today, I caught an antelope with a fishing hook." Nailah clutching her chest in disbelief. "An antelope? Killen, the gods must truly favor you." "This is a blessing," Nailah said. Killen watched as Nailah's eyes sparkled with wonder. He could see the gears turning in her head, but for now, she kept quiet barely. Finally, Killen dropped the ultimate bait. He came home with a story that was too tempting for Nailah to keep quiet. He said, "Nailah, today I found a pot of gold buried in our farmland." Nailah, eyes widening, jumping with joy. "Gold, real gold. Killen, we're rich. Oh, we must celebrate." "Not so fast, Nailah. This must remain a secret. Promise me you won't tell anyone," Killen said. But promises are fragile things in the world of Nailah. And by dawn, the entire village buzzed with the news of Killen's supposed treasure. The next morning, Nailah's excitement had turned into a full-blown storm. She told her friends, who told their friends, and soon, the king himself summoned the couple to his palace. The king's personal messenger was sent to relay the king's message. The king's messenger said, "Killen, Nailah, the king demands your presence at once." Killen sighed deeply. He had expected this. Nailah, on the other hand, couldn't stop talking all the way to the palace. In the grand palace, the king sat on his ornate throne, glaring at Killen and Nailah. "Killen, how dare you hide a pot of gold from your king? As your king, the gold should be brought to me immediately you found it. I demand my share now." Killen, bowing respectfully, "My king, there is no pot of gold. This is all a misunderstanding," Killen said. The king turning to Nailah. "Nailah, is this true?" the king asked. "My king, it's the god's work." Strange things has been happening to him in farmland, which made it clear that the gods is about to bless him. "My king," Killen caught a fish with a mousetrap. The following week, he caught an antelope with a fishing hook. These things has been preparing him for the grand surprise of the gods. And then Killen, my husband, found a pot of gold buried in the ground. The palace was steeped in tension. Chiefs, messengers, generals, and even the wise elders were confused. Breaking the silence, the king spoke, his tone laced with confusion. "How can one catch a fish with a mousetrap? And how is it possible to catch an antelope with a hook?" He then turned to Killen and asked angrily, "Are you certain your wife is mentally okay? Or is she deliberately mocking me?" Killen took a deep breath and delivered the performance of his life. Killen said, "My king, I humbly ask for your forgiveness. Nailah is not of sound mind and often speaks and sees things that make no sense. For 3 years since our marriage, I have been her sole caregiver, exhausting all my life savings on every treatment I could find. I have nothing left to continue her care. Oh, great king, I beseech you to help us secure the treatment she so desperately needs." Nailah, overwhelmed by confusion, attempted to speak, but no words came out. All she could manage was a loud, desperate "Ow!" The onlookers exchanged uneasy glances, convinced she had completely lost her sanity. And so, Nailah found herself in the village's treatment center for the mentally unwell. She was forcefully taken there. As for Killen, he finally got the peace and quiet he'd been longing for. But did Nailah ever stop talking? Well, let's just say, that's a story for another day.